Hey everybody! Today we're going to do a video response to my friend Steven. His YouTube name is thelaggygamer. We'll leave a link down there. But today we're going to talk about how YouTube has changed my gaming ways. That is the topic. And I thought it was really interesting because no one's really brought this up, and I have put it into 4 different categories on how YouTube has changed my gaming ways. So let's just start it, and the first one is it has expanded my gaming knowledge. That's the first one. And what I mean by that is there's so many games that I would never ever really have even looked at or gotten into if not for being a part of the YouTube community and knowing the people that I now know. So as an example, Fire Emblem Awakening, a game that came out this year. I've never played the Fire Emblem series, and now I have. So it's a series I never would have touched. I would have just looked at it and been like, and it would never have happened. So there's that. It's strategy RPG. I never would have, I would never have even looked it up. So that's one, a hands down one. Tales series, Ys series, 999, Xenoblade Chronicles, Secret of Evermore, like random games that I honestly would never have bought. Like I would never gotten into the visual novel. Like I said, 999, Virtue's Last Reward. Sorry, looking at my case here to see, are there any games popping up? Yeah, different old like PS1 games, Super Nintendo games that I just honestly would never have gotten into or even thought to get into had it not been for being a part of the YouTube community. So that's the big one, honestly, because there's so many games. Like there's certain ones that I would always have bought, but honestly, people get talking, like, okay, so for Ys, for instance, I've still never played an Ys game, but the new one is coming out November 26th for the Vita, and I'm really excited. I've got it pre-ordered, and that's a game that I would never have even thought to play. Honestly, I don't know why, but I never would have if not for being in this YouTube community. It's really... Ever since I started the channel when I got back from Japan, and Japan kind of changed a lot of things. It basically took everything I liked that was nerdy and just expanded it. I don't know how to explain that, but it did. Like anime, for instance. I've always liked anime, but ever since I got back from Japan, I've been more inclined to watch different anime instead of just ones I've always known about. Same thing with games. Now I'm way more into more RPGs, even though the RPG genre has always been my favorite one, along with platformers. Now I'm way into other stuff I never would have even touched, and that goes for even music. Always been a huge fan of J-pop, but now there's tons of other groups that I've explored because once you submerge yourself in that culture, I don't know, I feel like you just change. So forever changed after that. So when I got home from Japan, I decided to make the channel. It's something I've always wanted to do, and when I look back at it, I feel like, wow, I don't know, I just feel like I've really changed with the kinds of games that I've either been into or bought. So yeah, I don't know, it's definitely expanded. It's made me become, I've always thought of myself as like a gamer, but now I feel like I've really, really taken that to the next level with how many games I have, games I've tried, genres I've tried that I would never have thought to try, etc. So something, yeah, like I went to Video Games Live last year, and that was something I've always wanted to go to, and it was amazing, but I feel like even that was more, I don't know, like I got it more somehow. I don't know, the YouTube community has like changed everything about what I know about video games. The second thing is it's allowed me to meet a bunch of cool new people. If you guys follow another gaming podcast, I'll leave the link down here. There's tons of people on there that have been guests or just a part of it, right? With Steven, Dustin, and Chance, that are just people I talk to all the time. And it's like, I don't know, I've met all these cool people, and we talk about all sorts of things, and we have like a Facebook chat, and everybody talks about whatever, everything from games, movies, to just random stuff like the weather's shitty today, anything. And it's, I don't know, it's kind of nice because you just go on there and be like, hey, I just got this new game, or what are you guys doing? And I don't know, it's honestly, it's really cool to be a part of this community. And then I don't know, I really like it. So that's sort of the second thing on the list, that I've just met so many cool new people. I would have never met anybody had I not made this channel. So that is super cool. And I've met people even just through them being subscribed to me. So that's awesome. So as a big thank you again to subscribers. The third thing is YouTube has changed how I get help in games. So what I mean by that is normally when I didn't understand things, like as a kid, you either had a game guide, like like Prima or whatever, and you had that as a walkthrough, or you called like the Nintendo hotline or whatever, or you just honestly figured it out and would call a friend, like, are you there yet? And whatever, it's Zelda, or have you got to that dungeon, whatever. But now I feel like I don't understand something in a game, like I can't figure this out. I just YouTube it. And half the time you don't even need to find like there'll be like a Chrono Trigger part 18 out of 80. Like there's like, Let's Plays. I use Let's Plays if I'm stuck on something, or I just look something up. You can be like, okay, I cannot figure out this puzzle in Tomb Raider. So you look it up and you're like, I don't know, you type the name of the cave or whatever, and you're like, oh, I never thought of that. And it's like, YouTube has allowed, I don't know, I guess it almost makes gaming easier because you can just look up anything. I've always just look up walkthroughs on like game facts and stuff, but I've never, this is a whole new thing. You can watch somebody play a game and have a commentary, and then they'll say like, as they're, walking into a dungeon, oh, by the way, did you know that this, I don't know, they just say different things, and it's really definitely changed the way that I use walkthroughs and get help in a game. So that's the third thing. And the last thing is kind of a bad thing, but kind of a good thing. So ever since I made my channel, and then you watch everyone else's channels, and quite honestly, people who do the video game channels all have the same kind of, they have the same kind of topics. There's people do reviews, people do pickups videos, and sometimes people just do random stuff, like this, what we're doing right now. And the pickups videos, honestly, at first it was like, hey, I got these games this week, I'll show them off. But then it almost became like some weird like hoarding thing where it's like, oh, we'll be at the pawn shop, or I'll be at like EB Games. It's like, normally you would never buy this. It'd be like, one day when I get to it, I'll buy it. It's like, no, I gotta buy it now. It's like, that's kind of a bad habit. Like there's so many games I own that I've never played. They're just sitting there. I defend it in the sense of there's certain games, like for example, like Super Nintendo games, where it's like, you know what, it's $20 now, but when I decide to play it in 5 years, it's gonna be like 80. So I'd rather honestly spend the $20, and then the one day when I want to play, I don't know, insert game title here, then I don't have to spend $80. Because, I mean, I bought Earthbound when I was a kid, but I feel like that's the kind of game where it's like, oh, I want to play Earthbound, too bad. I guess you can play it on the Wii U now, but something, you know what I mean. So it's like, there's a lot of games where I buy them, and it's kind of almost like a hoarding thing where it's like, oh, how many games can I show off in my pickups video? Not to be a show off, it's more like just I like buying games, and that's totally bad. Like just a random example, like Final Fantasy 12. Like I am not going to get to that for a long time, but I just had to have it. It's like, that's kind of bad. And that's not a game that's really shot up in price, but there are a couple of things in there that's like, you know what? I saw it at the Comic Expo, it's $40, but when I do play it in 2 years, it might be 80, might be 100. So I feel like it's kind of justifiable because there's a lot of games I bought that I truly do want to get to. Like ever since I beat Chrono Trigger, I really want to try Chrono Cross. I don't know when I'm going to get to that. Like seriously, I don't know. But I feel like I'd rather buy Chrono Cross now, and then when I want to play it eventually, it's going to be super expensive. So that's my justifying bit of it. I know half the games I bought for PS1 I've never played, you can get on the PSN, but I like having the physical copy with games. I've been like that with everything. I like physical copies of movies too. But anyway, regardless, it's being a part of having a YouTube channel has totally made me hoard stuff. So that's kind of bad, but at the same time, yeah, so that's my that's my fourth point. But other than that, that's how YouTube has changed my gaming ways. I've learned so much about games, subgenres that I would never have thought to play, which is great. It's really made me more of a well-rounded gamer, to be honest. I've met so many cool people, It changes how I actually play games, because now I just look up something on YouTube and, oh, that's how you get through that puzzle, whatever. And then it's made me buy a lot more games and totally be a hoarder. So definitely make your response, if you're one of his subscribers, check out his channel. But yeah, I honestly, like, great topic, Steven. This really interesting, because I'm curious to see what other people say of how YouTube has changed the way that they are a gamer or how they game. Just interesting. It's a whole new outlet for stuff. I mean, I've learned about so many things through it. So yeah, that's basically my response to you, Steven, and probably upload some more reviews and stuff soon, but that's pretty much it. So I'll see you guys later.